Hello again. Hello. Right, so let's have a go at this and see if it works. Apparently it's a problem with the app. Was that what you said, Jeff?
I think so, because I can see you on the laptop.
Okay. So it might just be a problem with the app on like iPads and phones and that type of thing. So we might have to go to PCs and laptops and stuff like that for today. So I hope that everybody who was in the previous show is able to find this one and come along. I'll wait a few minutes before we get going to see if everyone can rejoin us, especially the people who are cooking along, because you're going to need the recipe. You're going to need the recipe unless you have the book, and then you've already got the recipe. Okay, so far we've got Justine and she's no gremlins. Good. Annie as well. So please do pop in a hello, just to let me know if you can see, you hear, you can see everything, and especially if you're cooking along, then definitely let me know that, because I always want to know that. Okay, so we've got a few people in the house already. So thank you. Do let me know if you experience any more problems, because I know it's really frustrating. Really frustrating when things like that happen. Jeff says he's here. I know he's here. He's just over there. so who's going to be my taste tester for today? Because not only am I doing this chocolate mousse here on Facebook, then also in 2 hours time at 2 p.m. I'm doing the same recipe on Instagram Live. So basically Jeff's going to have to eat all of them. Deal? Yes, deal. Okay, right. Okay, so Portis is back again. I hope that you can see well. Justine says we were talking about gremlins on the other one. We think it's Spike. Definitely. Gizmo would never do anything like this. Never. He'd be like sitting here, just like patiently waiting for a little taste of it, maybe helping me mix everything. That would be so cute. That would be so cute. Okay, right. Okay, so Annie's cooking along. Christine says third time lucky. Good morning. Fingers crossed. And Doug is here and he says hello again. Hello. Right. Okay, so as I was saying, this is a book launch special. Oh, Lynn is here. Good. And over this month, we are launching this book. Basically, we're just talking about it a lot and promoting it. So this is my first cookbook, and I decided that when I created a cookbook, I wanted to have more of a reason behind it. So I didn't ever want to just like create just like a regular cookbook. And me and Jeff, we decided that we wanted to adopt a dog last year, and I had heard about the wonderful work that Victoria, and this is Victoria, had been doing with Miracles Mission. Miracles Mission is a charity that helps disabled and injured dogs and other animals all around the world. But what they've been trying to do for a while now is to fundraise so that they can build a rehabilitation centre in the UK. And the idea is that these dogs are all over the world, and when they have disabilities, obviously there's a lot of people who they don't want to take on a dog with a disability, but actually it's a lot easier than you think it's going to be, and it's and these dogs are so happy and so inspiring, and they're just like regular dogs really. And so in shelters around the world, they kind of like don't really know what to do with these dogs, and they're not that likely to get rehomed, unfortunately. And so what Miracles Mission want to do is they want to bring all these dogs over to the UK, into the rehabilitation centre. They'll get fit for wheels, they'll have hydrotherapy sessions, they'll have checks with vets just to see, because some of them who aren't using, say for example, their back legs, it might just be that they need a bit of surgery, or they need some of the hydrotherapy sessions or something like that. And so I knew about the amazing work that they were doing. And so when we were considering adopting a dog, I was like, well, why don't we look at Miracles Mission? And so we are adopting a dog, the lovely Bo, who this book is named after. And so we've named her Bo because there was always a rainbow on the show, and you guys had to find out where it was. And of course, as you guys know, the rainbow has been a symbol during these times of hope and also fun. And for me, a Miracles Mission dog kind of like that encapsulates like a Miracles Mission dog, you know, full of hope and full of fun as well. You know, they aren't like dogs to be kind of like pitted or anything like that, because they have such amazing, vibrant souls. So all of the profits go to Miracles Mission, and it's a coil bound book, which I think one of you guys pointed out that it would be great to have a coil bound book, because it means that it sits flat when you're trying to cook from it, basically. And another bit of news, I'm now an ambassador of Miracles Mission, which is blooming awesome. I did nearly swear there, I have to admit, but that was like an occasion to swear, because it's really, 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 really awesome. So I've never been an ambassador of anything. Okay, so we're going to make a recipe from this. We're going to be making a dark chocolate mousse. It is really rich, as I said. It is one for the adults, because it is quite rich. But if you want to make it a little less dark, then just use cooking chocolate that isn't so dark. So I've got a few that I like to use here. So this is the one that I'll be using today. And as you can see, like it's 70%. So it's quite high, but I like very bitter foods. In fact, this is my favourite chocolate. So this is 90%, which is, you know, pretty epic. It's very, 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 very bitter. But that just goes to show you like how bitter I like my chocolate. So if you don't want it to be as bitter as, you know, I like it, you can get dark chocolate that is 50% now. But always make sure that you get cooking chocolate. Don't use like snacking chocolate. So I always like to say that there's two different types of chocolate. You've got your cooking chocolate and you've got your snacking chocolate. So this is an example of snacking chocolate that I've snacked all of since Christmas. Really, really, really good brands. This is Raw Halo. And they have lots of different flavours as well. It's a UK company. You can get them sent to you by post, and you can also get them sent to friends and family by post as well. They do free UK shipping. So during lockdown, I've actually sent a few of these to friends and family, just as kind of like, you know, I'm not going to get to see you for a while. This is my version of a hug, basically. So that's quite a nice thing to do. So really, really good brand. But I would say, you know, always, always, always use cooking chocolate. And the reason why is that cooking chocolate will always melt down and be very kind of thin. So you can mix it in. It's designed to melt well. Okay, yeah, because it's cooking chocolate. That's what we need it for. Whereas snacking chocolate, I mean, these days snacking chocolate can have a variety of different ingredients and fillers and things that are put in them just to kind of change up the mouthfeel of it. But that can hamper the way that it melts. So you might try to melt something like this and actually it's quite thick, and you won't then be able to use it for this recipe because it needs this kind of like really thin, pourable consistency melted chocolate for this recipe. There are other recipes that you might be able to get away with using this for, but things like you just don't know with snacking chocolate how it's going to melt down, so it's not really worth it. It's better just to get cooking chocolate. And there are so many different types of vegan cooking chocolate that are on the market now that, you know, it should be fairly easy for you to find them. Right, okay, so we've got Erin here and Arouge. Lovely to see you here. Doug said, is Jeff Zachary Galligan and Dave's Phoebe Cates? Yes, I'd quite happily be Phoebe Cates, thank you very much. And Doug said, Miracles Mission are my favourite charity by a mile. Love them and their work. I can't wait to see Voto. Oh, me too, me too. Carol says, I haven't got an electric whisk. Okay, you really, really do need an electric whisk for this recipe. Sorry, just tidy up a bit. You really do need an electric whisk for this recipe because we're going to be whipping aquafaba until it is fluff, and really the only way to do that is with an electric whisk. Of course, you know, there are those kind of ones, you know what I mean when I say that. It's not like charades, and I'm not about to start telling you about a film. No whisk like that that my mum used to have. You know, you could try it, but you'll need a lot of power. Okay, so let me just check if we've got any more comments before we get on with cooking. Oh, and Jane said that she's received her cookbook today. Good, good, good. I'm really, really glad to hear that. Paul says it's the 155th Facebook Live. And Connie says, I'm so confused. I refreshed and thought I was live, but apparently it was the first video. And David is back. David is back. I'm really, really glad that you found us. Sorry for that. And Lara says this looks amazing. Oh, Lara. Lara is in the book. Brilliant. Lara was very, very kind and generous with her time, and she's actually given us information on how to have a greener kitchen. So you'll see Lara in the book with really, really amazing tips and some lovely pictures as well, because we all want to know how to make our kitchens a bit greener. Okay. So, oh, Joe is here and says hi. Hello. Paul says cooking chocolate designed to melt well. Good point. Yes, exactly. Carol says, how do I get the book? Very good question. Thank you for asking that. So you can either get it from the Miracles Mission website. If anybody can, could you post a link to that in the comments? Because obviously I'm going to be cooking, so I can't do that. So the Miracles Mission website, you can get it from there, or you can get it from the Vegan Chef School website as well. So that's absolutely, kind of easy. You've got two options there, and they deliver all over the world now. So, oh, and we've got Jennifer from Scotland. Hello, hello, hello. Arouge is cooking along. Justine says, what's the Insta channel you're on later? Maybe we can all help out with questions. The Vegan Chef School. I'm like the Vegan Chef School everywhere. Annie says, my mum used to have a whisk like that. It was such hard work, but I love that whisk. I learned to bake using it. Yeah, exactly. Me too. And Linda is here. One of my lovely students. We've actually got quite a few chef students in the house today. Right, I'm going to stop gabbing and I'm going to start cooking because it's 22 minutes in and I haven't even started cooking. So let's come over to here today. Okay, and of course we have something underneath the rainbow, but it's a little bit bleached out today, so I'm going to have to just bring it up to the camera so that it's such an easy one today. It's such an easy one. Come on, guys. What is it? Jeff, you're not allowed to guess.
No idea.
There we go. So what is underneath our rainbow today? We go. Okay, so Sarah is here. Lovely to see you, Sarah. She says, good morning. Congratulations for the amazing book release. Ah, thank you. And Chrissy Ann, I have some Little Dark, which is 52%, so better for me. Yes, brilliant. Justine says, got it. Okay, so Justine says it's a moose underneath the rainbow. It is. It's quite an easy one today. Sarah says, could we use 100% dark chocolate? Is it too bitter? If you like that flavour, then that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Use it. But I would say always use cooking chocolate. So if it's 100% dark cooking chocolate, then yes, do. Colleen, yes, is it Rocky under the rainbow? Oh, that's actually, yeah. It was quite like him. There we go. We've got studio lighting today, you see, which is why it's looking a bit bleached out. Studio lighting is a bit necessary in the current British weather. So, okay, Justine guessed, is it a frog on drugs? No. I don't really see the link to today's show. There you go. Colleen says Rocky the Moose from Rocky and Bullwinkle. Oh yes, I remember now. Okay, right. So, really, really simple ingredients that we've got today. So we've got our dark cooking chocolate, as I showed you. So we've got our aquafaba as well, which is 120 millilitres of aquafaba, which is the water from a can of beans, from chickpeas usually. And I just had to get these out of the freezer. We've got our frozen raspberries as well. So we've got 80 grams of frozen raspberries. We've got a bit of cream of tartar. So this is the cream of tartar. I always put a little label on here so that when I'm going into my cupboard, my drawer, I know what it is that I'm grabbing. And then we've got some chopped pecans as well. But these are completely optional because, this is a bit of a choose your own adventure recipe. It's simply, a chocolate mousse. If you want to swap out the fruit for something else, then you absolutely can. If you want to use like different types of nuts, if you want to flavour it with, spices, cinnamon, ginger, anything like that. I'll tell you a really, really lovely combination is thyme or rosemary and chocolate. Really, 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 really lovely. Really lovely. Sarah says it's not cooking chocolate, it's the Montezuma's vegan chocolate. So Sarah, I do always advise that you use cooking chocolate for these recipes because cooking chocolate melts well and some other chocolate, you know, quite snacking chocolate I call it, doesn't. Sarah says maybe I could use some maple or date paste to sweeten. Yes, possibly, but that might make the mixture a bit too heavy because this is going to create a chocolate mousse that will be aerated, which is lovely, really, really lovely. Annie says, can I mix 2 types of cooking chocolate as I don't really like bitter, some dark, some milk? Yes, absolutely. As long as it's cooking chocolate, that's absolutely fine. Colleen says, if I wanted to sweeten this up, should I use lighter chocolate or add sugar syrup? Yeah, so absolutely use lighter chocolate rather than adding sugar or syrup because yeah, I just think that syrup is going to make it kind of heavy, and we're going to be using this aquafaba to basically create a lot of fluff with lots of air pockets in it. So we want to be really careful not to take away those air pockets. Arisha says, yeah, there is no sugar. Okay, right, so we're going to start by melting the chocolate. So I've got some water in a pan here. There we go. So we'll just put this on, and we've got a glass bowl, and then this can just go into the water there. And this is actually hitting the bottom, and you will see that so many recipes will say when you're melting chocolate, the bottom of the bowl shouldn't be hitting the bottom of the pan. But the reason for that is because they're worried about you burning it. But to be honest, it's quite hard to burn chocolate if you're standing here, you know, and you're going to use it quite soon after it's melted. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Sarah says, do you know any cooking chocolate without sugar? I haven't explored it. I would say though that, Sarah, if you're going to try, then just have a look at the ingredients. So I was looking at this one. So this is my Raw Halo, which I absolutely love. And they do have coconut sugar in theirs. So I don't know if you're talking about, you know, getting a brand that either doesn't use any sugar at all or doesn't use refined refined sugar. I don't know if you're okay with coconut sugar. But in this recipe, they've got raw cacao butter, raw cacao powder, and coconut sugar. So really, this one has more likelihood of melting quite well because they haven't put like any kind of inulin in it or you know, any kind of rice powder or something crazy like that. So you may be able to get away with it. So I would say, you know, have a look at what is in your snacking chocolate, Sarah, and just see what they've put in it. If basically it's just raw cacao butter and raw cacao powder, then you might be okay. Okay, so Annie says, how could I infuse the chocolate with thyme? Really fancy that. Yes, absolutely. I have actually made thyme chocolates before, and they were absolutely divine, really, really divine. So the best way is just to finely chop thyme. I think you could probably get some thyme essence as well if you don't want those bits. But to be honest, I just like finely chopped thyme and put it in with the raw chocolate I was making. Okay, so the chocolate is now in the pan, and I just make sure that as much of the chocolate as possible is hitting the edges of the bowl, because if it's all like stacked up, you know, on each other, then the heat is just going to take a really long time to get to it. There we go. And so whilst that is cooking, we can make our aquafaba fluff. So this is the aquafaba from a can of, can't remember the brand of it actually, but it's an organic make in the UK. But to be honest, I've never really struggled with aquafaba. I know quite a few people struggle with aquafaba, and some people even choose to reduce it as well. I've never found the need to reduce it, but sometimes you'll be whisking aquafaba and you'll see that it's quite slack and it looks quite heavy, and it takes quite a long time to fluff up. But adding cream of tartar really does help quite a lot. So I'm going to pour this into a bowl, and I always use a plastic bowl when I'm whisking. I don't ever use a glass bowl, and that's just because I don't like the sound of it. I think the sound is very unpleasant, so I always use this big wide plastic bowl. But you do need it to be quite a big bowl because you want a lot of space. You really don't want to be skimping on space. Justine says no, not Aquaphor, but I know you've had some issues with it. Okay, so now I'm going to put a pinch of this magic dust into our aquafaba. So this is cream of tartar. You can also use arrowroot. That's absolutely fine. And now when I make aquafaba fluff, I always start on the lowest setting and let it fluff up a decent amount before I go any higher. And the reason why is because if you can create lots and lots of really tiny bubbles, your aquafaba is going to be much more stable than having really big bubbles and less of them as well. Okay, so we want lots and lots of little bubbles, so we're going to take it slowly. Oh, Joe, thank you for commenting. Cocoa Caravan raw chocolate does 100% chocolate that works in cooking. Thank you, that sounds lovely. I saw actually on Facebook that you gave yourself a Christmas present of what looked like a really big bumper pack from Cocoa Caravan. That looked amazing. Okay, so it's going to be a bit noisy now, guys. I'm going to start on 1 and just let it do its thing for a while before going up. Okay, so as I'm whisking it, I am moving the whisk around as well. So mimicking a stand mixer. You know those stand mixers, you know, the big ones that like sit on the counter. So just making sure that you go around and that you're incorporating all of it. And I can see that it's not at a consistency yet where I want to go up, so I'm going to keep it on 1. Okay, and now I can see that it's getting more stiff, so I'm going to go up. Okay, so I'm just going to show you guys what this looks like, because the studio lights are kind of getting in the way of me being able to show this to you properly. So when you're whisking aquafaba, you'll see these patterns emerge just from it kind of getting churned around. And the more you whisk it, the firmer it gets, the more those patterns will actually stay. So at the beginning, the patterns will appear and then they'll disappear very, very quickly. But the more you whisk it, the more it goes from the soft peak stage to the stiff peak stage. Those patterns will stay there. They will stay there. Because the thing is, like, you know, you don't always want to have to, you know, do this. You don't. This is the way that we tell if something is at the stiff peak stage. Yeah? Or the mid peak stage. Or the soft peak stage. That's how we test. But you don't necessarily want to have to stop every few seconds to test it out. So the way that you can tell is by these patterns, being able to see these patterns. So I can see that the chocolate is almost, oh yeah, there we go, the chocolate's done. Chocolate done. So I can turn that off. Right, there we go. Okay, so if your chocolate isn't quite done and your aquafaba has to sit on the side for a few minutes, you might want to just kind of like churn it again, whisk it again, just to make sure that there is as many bubbles in it as possible. Because guys, we really, really, really want a lot of bubbles, and we don't want to get rid of them either. Oh, Jo said that the chocolate bumper pack was for her birthday instead, so happy birthday. And Carol says, yeah, no way I could do that by hand. Time to see if my food processor has a whisk attachment. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Colleen says, are you going to hold the bowl upside down over your head to see how thick it is? Do I really have to? I'm just testing it. Okay, all right then. Seeing as you asked. Right, 1, 2. Was that okay? That's all you're going to get, okay? I'm a bit too paranoid. Especially after the gremlins that are in the show. It's like, is it going to be one of those shows where lots of things go wrong? Oh, Fumi's here. And Fumi says, bought your cookbook and I'm enjoying it. Oh, thank you. That's amazing. Okay, right. Now, I hope that you guys who are cooking along have all got to the stage where your chocolate is melted and your aquafaba is fluffed. So, if you can let me know, even just like give me a thumbs up. Because I don't expect you to like stop cooking and then type it all in. Just a thumbs up would be great. Justine says, okay, mine didn't do that. Must be where I went wrong. Oh, yours didn't fluff up. Okay, so if your aquafaba doesn't fluff up, then first of all, use cream tartar because that might be your problem. The other problem might be that you're not listening to the ingredient and what it needs. Okay, so I have used aquafaba that is what I call very, very slack. And it seems kind of like quite heavy and it's quite resistant to fluffing up. Okay, and I think that what a lot of people might do is they might just, you know, put it on like a higher number for whisking, you know, a faster speed. But actually what you really need to do is you really need to keep it on the lowest speed but for longer. You know, you just need to bear with it. I mean, I have read that some people will whisk aquafaba for like 10 minutes in a stand mixer. That wasn't 10 minutes. So, you know, it might be that it just needs longer. Okay, right. Let's come back to the overhead camera. There we go. And I'm just going to give this one last whisk and then we're going to add the chocolate. Let's just get this out of the pan. And then it's ready. So guys, you know, just be careful that you're not going to hurt your fingers because that bowl is going to be very, very hot. And let's just go back to 1. There we go. So just as I had left it for a couple of minutes, I wanted to just re-whisk it just to make sure that there are as many bubbles in there as possible. There we go. It's kind of difficult for you guys to see, so I'm just going to pop over to this camera. There we go. That's what we're looking for. You see all those patterns? Those patterns should be staying there. Okay, at the beginning those patterns will emerge and then they'll sink. they'll just disappear. We want all of these patterns just to stay as they are. So really, really firm. And now all we have to do is add our chocolate to the aquafaba and fold it in. But you need to fold it in, okay? Right, so none of this. No. This. Okay, so figure of 8. You can also add an extra twist, which is what I do, which I will show you in a second. Justine says, I don't touch aquafaba anymore. Babe, you're going to have to. You're just going to have to because you want to be a vegan chef. So it's like, it comes with the territory, but you'll ace it. Look, you know, I'll work through it with you, and you'll be an aquafaba ace in no time. Serena says, can cream tartar be a substitute? Yes, absolutely. Sarah says, oh, sorry, that was Serena. Sarah says, I have frozen aquafaba. Can you use it as soon as it melts? Yes, absolutely. You can even use it just before it has completely melted, which actually I have found really very effective. Okay, so now I'm going to pour the chocolate into the side of the bowl. So I'm not going to pour it on the top because I just kind of want it to go down the edge. There we go. And the reason for that is, again, just I don't want to flatten the aquafaba fluff because I'll be getting rid of bubbles. We just really want to be very vigilant and keep as many bubbles as we can. I'm sure that there is like a lockdown joke to be had with that, but I'm not too good at things like that. So where's Khan? Where's Khan when you need him? Okay, right, so I'm going to bring you guys to the overhead cam so you can see. So there's my chocolate. So it's just in the side there. And then I'm going to do my folding. So figure of 8. There we go. You can see a bit better there. There we go. Figure of 8. Nice and slow. We don't need to rush. I know you're probably in a rush to have your chocolate mousse. Just gently, you know, it's very kind of meditative. Colleen said the signature Chef Dave figure of 8 twist. Oh, babe, that's very lovely. I mean, it's nice that I'm getting these things that are my signature that I don't even realise are my signature. There we go. And so we don't need to overmix it at all. We just want it to be incorporated. Okay, and now we can get our, you know, bowls, dishes, cups, glasses, whatever it is that you want to put your mousse into, and then we can just pop some of it in. And so this is, you know, a mousse that is very rich, so you don't need a lot of it. So what I would recommend that you do is you err on the side of caution and you use small bowls, cups, glasses. And so what we have essentially done is we have created this aerated structure which is our aquafaba, and then we've introduced something that is has a fat in it. And so once that fat gets cool enough, it will solidify. So it will maintain that structure that we have created with the aquafaba. Oh, okay, this is getting messy. I'm gonna have to just pour this in. Oh, that one looks good. there we go. So I managed to get 4 out of that. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now we can just pop our frozen raspberries onto it. There we go. And to any of you guys who are quite keen on taking photographs of your food, adding frozen raspberries to desserts and immediately taking photographs of them is it's a very, very good technique, because your camera can really focus in on those tiny little ice crystals. It's very, very pretty. Very, very pretty. And so with any type of rich chocolate, pairing it with an acidic fruit like raspberry is great, because it cuts through that, you know, quite intense bitterness. There we go. So there is a recipe that I'm working on for Valentine's Day, which is just a really, really easy chocolate mousse cake, and I will be pairing it with raspberries again. And I do prefer raspberries with chocolate rather than strawberry. There we go. Just use up these. There we go. Now we can pop these into the fridge. Oh, no, there you are. There you are. We've got a new camera today as well, you see. Hey. So, you know, do just place them very, very delicately, because, you know, there's all that air that we want to make sure stays. Okay, so we're just going to pop these into the fridge for about an hour, and then it will be set, and we can actually pop on some of these as well now. There we go, we'll just pop some in the middle. I forgot about the pecans. And I do just like adding some pecans or crushed nuts, or even like crushed seeds, because it gives a bit of texture. I don't really like food that has the texture of baby food. There we go. Yummy, yummy. Okay, yeah, they're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. Okay, so let me see how everybody is getting on. Justin says, no. Can I put that I can cook anything except aquafaba? No, because you're one of my chef students, Justine. So I'm going to teach you how to be amazing with aquafaba. Okay, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. In fact, I'm going to be really, really mean and say that you can't have your certificate until you can ace aquafaba. I know, I'm such a mean teacher. I am such a mean teacher. Colleen said, the signature twist. Justine says, Joss isn't cooking long because we're on a diet. Is this like a post-Christmas thing? Doug says, is that green bowl small? Are you talking about mine? Yeah, well, yeah, this one isn't. If you're talking about this one, because it's green on the inside, I think you're probably referring to this one. No, that's, yeah. It's a bit bigger. We don't really have that many like small receptacles, so what are you going to do? And Annie says, my aquafaba deflated a bit when I was folding the chocolate in. It will deflate a bit, and that is why we make extra sure, and we work extra hard to get in as many bubbles as we possibly can before we get to the stage of putting the chocolate in. So it's exactly the same as when, I don't know, Annie, if you made amaretti with me, you know, we whisk the aquafaba in exactly the same way, and then we mix it in with the other ingredients, and it does deflate, because in that recipe I think we had like ground almonds or ground oats, you know, and that's heavy, because we are always going to get this thing of, you know, we are mixing aquafaba in with something else. Inevitably, the thing that we're mixing in with is heavier than aquafaba, because we wouldn't really be mixing it in with anything lighter, unfortunately, because I don't think there's anything as light as aquafaba. It's like really, really aerated, and, you know, so it's always going to be this balance of a really, really light thing and then these other ingredients, and just trying to maintain as many of those bubbles as we possibly can. Linda says, what are we cooking at 2 p.m? Okay, so I'm going to be on Instagram Live doing exactly the same recipe. Exactly the same recipe. Because I did think that if I try and do another recipe, then I'm really going to get confused. You know what? You guys know what I'm like. You guys know what I'm like. I mean, it's difficult enough spending like an hour here trying not to swear. So I'm exhausted after this. Oh, Doug said I meant the mixing bowl. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, if anybody is like a bowl licker, then yeah, this is a really, really good recipe to make. Really good recipe to make. Okay, guys, I'm just going to bring one of these over to you so that you can see properly. I think this is the best one to bring. There we go. How lovely is that? Really, really, really lovely. Really, really simple. You know, like not many ingredients at all. I think the only thing that's, you know, makes it a bit less accessible, pouring out a bit. The only thing that makes it a bit less accessible is the fact that you need to have an electric whisk. So, there we go. But, guys, you know, if you do want to make anything with aquafaba, you know, anything where you need to fluff it up, you're going to need an electric whisk. Okay, guys, so let me just pop these into the fridge, and you guys can have a think about, I've forgotten. You guys can have a think about what you want to ask me before I pop off. Right, okay guys, any questions before we go? Linda says it's fine with me, more chocolate mousse. Yes, exactly. So yeah, we'll be Instagram live at 2 p.m. and it's the Vegan Chef School. Okay, so Annie says, okay, I've got 2 small glasses of pudding. I did have the pattern in it, as you said. It does have lots of bubbles in it. It might be okay. I'll take photos for you to critique. Did you use the cream tartar as well, Annie? Actually, did you use a cream tartar? So I would say there's a couple of things to double check on that. Maybe using a bit more cream tartar and maybe spending a bit more time on the lowest setting when you're whisking it. That might help as well. Doug said, beautiful food. Could blueberries work as well as raspberries? Yes, absolutely. I always think that, you know, there are kind of, you know, these flavour pairings that go together really, really well. But I think, to be honest, you know, if you like it, if you like those flavours, and if you think they go together, then, you know, then that's absolutely fine. Fumi said, lovely, have to try this. Good. Let me know how you get on. Annie says, can you over whisk aquafaba? That's a very good question because, you know, we're using it in the same way that you use egg white, and when you whisk egg white, you can over whisk it. But in my experience, I've never over whisked aquafaba. So I don't think that you can. But I haven't like tried whisking it for like half an hour. But my whisk wouldn't like me. If I did that, I would probably burn out the motor. Annie says, yes, I did use it, but just a pinch. Yeah, so as I said, there is some aquafaba that is a bit more difficult to work with. I think I have mainly found, unfortunately, like that the non-organic cans of chickpeas, their aquafaba seems to be a bit more difficult to work with. So I do get organic chickpeas. I can't remember the brand that I use, but I'll let you guys know in the community hub later on today, and that one always seems to work out. But as I said, it can just be a matter of reading the aquafaba. You know, if it seems a bit slack, if it seems a bit unwilling to fluff up, then just bearing with it on the lowest setting for, you know, for as long as it takes for it to really have got a lot bigger in mass. I would say probably like at least like quadrupled, and then you can go up to the highest settings. So okay, Paul said the Jive Ace musicians have done 305 daily consecutive Facebook live shows. They're amazing, by the way. I did used to do Jive, and I've been trying to convince Jeff for a really long time to do it with me. So this might just be the nudge that you need. So thank you for that. And Doug said a possible collaboration. Yes, absolutely. I'm not really sure how, but yes, I'm up for it. Annie says, I use Oggs for the first time. So maybe it's that. Okay, so this is one of these aquafabas where you're literally just buying the aquafaba. You're not buying the aquafaba and the chickpeas. So I think that Oggs has ingredients in it that is meant to help with fluffing it up. So you know, I don't know, because I've never used it. I always just go for chickpea water because it's easy for me to get, and also, quite frankly, it encourages me to make a dish with chickpeas. And I really do like just having ingredients that I'm like, well, what can I make out of that? You know, I'd love to be on, was it Ready Steady Cook? You know, when you just have like the bag of ingredients, you just have to make stuff. Like, I love cooking like that. But Oggs, as far as I know, it should contain things like cream of tartar to help you fluff it up. So Chrissy Ann says they are Scientologists, so yes, a plant food diet. They are brilliant. Thanks for that info. Who are Scientologists? Who are we talking about? Okay, guys, do let me know if you make the chocolate mousse. Pictures are always great. Please do put them in the community hub, which is our Facebook group. As I said, this show is in honour of our book launch, which is Bo's book. You can get it from Miracles Mission website, or you can get it from the Chef School, the Vegan Chef School website, either or, and you can now buy it wherever you are in the world. And I said it's coil bound, which is a huge help. And one thing that I didn't mention earlier, which I should have mentioned, is that the book not only contains recipes, but it also contains the most beautiful illustrations of the dogs. And the illustrations were created by the amazingly talented Bridget. And there we go. And we've got Bo here. So really beautiful illustration of Bo and her story. So we've got lots and lots of tales. We call them TAILS, tales from the dogs, just telling us their story. And they all kind of end very positively, and they tell us what they want to teach us humans, because, you know, we always need to learn from animals. They are amazing teachers. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next week. I hope that you have a great week. Please do touch base with me, you know, through the community hub or the page or whatever. It's always lovely to see how you guys are doing at the moment, because I think definitely at the moment we all need to kind of reach out to each other and be part of this amazing community that we've created. So thank you so much, and as always, have a lovely day.